Have you ever been interrupted in a meeting or found your idea being ignored? Then 5 minutes later, someone else says the same thing and is praised as excellent? Does it hurt? It's like you plant a tree, water it, fertilize it, and then someone else just picks the fruit. The reason is not because you're not smart, but because the human brain has an interesting programming error. We like talking more than listening. Scientists call it the self-talk reward effect. Every time you talk, your brain releases dopamine, making you feel as good as eating a hot piece of pizza. But the problem is, while you are pizza drunk, others are bored because they have heard too much. So smart people will do the opposite. They apply this little-known secret. Listen more than you talk, the secret of the invisible CEO. The solution consists of two parts. One, reduce the number of sentences in each conversation by 30%. If you normally intend to say 10 sentences, say only 7 sentences and leave room for silence. Two, ask open-ended questions to extract information. Why do you think so? Or, if you did it again, what would you do differently? This is a gentle way to make others open their safe. The action step for you today is very simple. In the next meeting or conversation, let the other person finish speaking completely, silently count to 3 seconds, then respond with a question about their opinion. When you do this, after just 1 week, you will find that you have collected more valuable information than 90% of the people around you. Not only do you understand your partner or customer, you also make them feel respected, and that is the foundation of any lasting relationship, even in business. Remember, silence at the right time is not avoidance, it is strategic. It turns you from the one who talks for fun to the one who is sought after to listen. In a world where everyone wants to talk, the one who knows how to listen is the one who holds the real power. If you are really serious about entering the group of 10% who know the game, smarter than the other 90%, then take on a new challenge. Watch this video until the end and leave your determination with a like and comment, "I am ready." And when you know how to be silent to listen more than talk, you will realize another secret. Not every fall is scary. For smart people, failure is not the end, but just the beginning of a new experiment. Failure equals laboratory, not a cemetery. Have you ever buried a dream after just one stumble? Maybe you started a coffee business but lost customers to the shop next door in the first week. Or you applied to your dream company and were rejected in the first round, and you told yourself, "I'm not good enough, this is probably not for me." Science explains this very clearly. Our brains are programmed from primitive times to consider failure equals danger, because in the past, one mistake could cost us our lives. In addition, modern society associates failure with fear of rejection. We fear being criticized, being afraid of losing face, afraid of pitying looks. So many people give up not because they can't do it, but because they are afraid of the feeling of failure repeating itself. But smart people are different. They turn failure into an experiment. No drama, no pathos. The solution is very simple. Write down the reasons for failure in a checklist. The more specific, the better. You need to know where the cracks are before you patch them. Turn your checklist into an improvement plan. Try one small change at a time, like a scientist testing a new formula. Your specific action step: pick a recent failure, write down 3 things you learned, and come up with a new experiment to try this week. It could be changing the way you present your product, changing your work hours, or learning a new skill. I promise you, in just 7 days, you will find yourself more proactive and less afraid of making mistakes. Failure is no longer a death sentence, but a ticket to your own experience museum, where each mistake is a valuable artifact to display and learn from. While others are crying at the grave of failure, you have sold tickets to your experience museum and made a profit. If you're ready to turn mistakes into lessons, comment "Fail Lab" below. And remember, this is just a stop on the journey, not the end. And when you turn failure into a laboratory, you will realize another truth. Your energy is the most valuable ingredient for any experiment, but if you let it leak into meaningless things, you will have nothing left to create great results. Save energy for what you control. The secret to long-lasting battery. Have you ever come home at the end of the day, plopped down on the couch, and thought, "What the hell did I do today that made me so tired?" Then you realize none of it got you closer to your goals. Instead, you've just spent hours arguing online, getting upset about the rain, and trying to save a friend you can't change. The reason? Scientists call it mental energy leakage. When your brain is constantly processing things you can't control, it drains your battery like a phone running unnecessary background apps. You don't notice it, but it drains your battery. Smart people understand this and have a simple rule. Categorize every problem into controllable and uncontrollable. Only take action on the first group and leave the second group alone. Specific action steps for you. Write down 5 things that are stressing you out today, then cross out the ones you can't change right away. Instead of getting frustrated with traffic, listen to a great podcast. Instead of worrying about the new branch opening of your competitor, spend time taking care of your customers better. I bet in just 3 days you'll feel lighter, more focused, and more productive. Because your energy is valuable, and like money, it only pays off when it's invested in the right place. People who have long battery life don't do it because they're healthier. They do it because they unplug from meaningless outlets. They don't charge up their neighbor's drama. They don't power up online gossip, and they don't waste their batteries complaining about the weather. Remember this: your battery life is not infinite. Don't plug in your neighbor's refrigerator. If you find this tip valuable, share the video with a friend who is exhausted by trivial matters. You might just give them a few extra hours of energy each day, and it doesn't cost you a dime. And once you know how to save your battery for what's worth it, there's a weapon that's more powerful than any energy source: silence. Not the awkward kind, but the kind that makes others reveal things they didn't mean to say. Use silence as a psychological tactic. Wait and see if the other person will fall apart. Have you ever been in an argument or negotiation, felt like you had to keep talking to prove you were the better, and then suddenly realized you just accidentally revealed some unfavorable information? Sound familiar? That's how many people shoot themselves in the foot because they're afraid of silence. The truth is, human psychology hates silence. When there is no sound, the brain starts to feel uncomfortable and tries to fill the void, usually with unnecessary information. And that is when those who know how to play with silence will reap the gold. Smart people use silence as a lever. Stay silent for at least 3 to 5 seconds after the other person finishes speaking. Don't react quickly, just smile or nod slightly. Use your eyes and body language to encourage them to continue. Lean forward slightly, look intently, nod slightly. Specific action steps. In today's conversation, try staying silent for 5 seconds after the other person stops and observes. You will see them either say more to fill the gap or reveal things you didn't ask. The effect comes faster than you think. After just one meeting, you can grasp important data that the other person didn't intend to reveal. In business, this can be an advantage to help you close the deal. In life, it helps you understand others more deeply without forcing them. Silence is not weakness. On the contrary, it is a form of subtle power, the power that makes others fill your silence with information, agreement, or apology. Remember this saying: the more silent you are, the thicker your wallet is, because you do not sell information cheaply. If you want to continue discovering subtle secrets that help you control situations without raising your voice, follow the channel so you don't miss the great things waiting ahead. But silence is not enough. It's time to upgrade your weapon, the ability to observe before reacting. Because sometimes just slowing down for a few seconds, you will see moves that others completely miss. Reacting 3 seconds slower, the reading the board strategy. Have you ever lost an opportunity just because your mouth was faster than your brain? For example, a customer complains, you immediately respond to defend your point of view, and the deal is ruined. Or in a meeting, someone irritates you, you react immediately, then regret it for a whole week. That's because you've just been amygdala hijacked, a phenomenon in which the primitive brain takes control when emotions are strongly stimulated. Instead of letting the rational part of the brain, prefrontal cortex, analyze, the amygdala will send out a danger signal, forcing you to act immediately, even if the decision is thoughtless. In the past, this reaction saved people's lives when encountering wild animals. But in business and modern life, it often just ruins the situation. Smart people have a very simple strategy to avoid this. Pause for 3 seconds to take a deep breath, giving the brain time to switch from survival mode to thinking mode. Review the big goal before acting. Ask yourself, is this decision moving me toward my goal or taking me further away? Specific action step. The next time you receive bad news or are provoked, silently count 1 to 2 to 3 before responding. Just those 3 seconds will give you enough clarity to choose an intelligent response instead of an instinctive one. I promise you, after just 1 week, you will find yourself calmer, making fewer mistakes, and making much wiser decisions. 3 seconds of silence can save 3 years of work, especially in business, where one wrong word can cost you a contract, a relationship, or a reputation. Picture the chessboard in front of you. The impatient person will rush into the first move they see, while the expert will pause, read the entire board, and then make their move and win. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've completed today's challenge. Comment "challenge completed" below to let me know you're a stickler and ready to apply the 3-second strategy to master every game of chess in your life.